This is a love story you don't hear every day. It's not about riches or luxury, not about fast cars or extravagant vacations. It's about love in its purest form. A truck driver and a teacher. Two souls from different worlds who found something rare, true, unshaking loyalty. But their love story was cut short, leaving behind a legacy of lessons about what it truly means to love and be loved. This is the story of the man who taught me what love really means. He wasn't a rich man. He didn't wear designer suits. He didn't own a flashy car. But when he held me, the whole world disappeared. He would say, "Don't worry, my queen. My shoulders are big enough to carry both of our problems." And I believed him, until the day he was gone. I never thought I'd lose him. I never thought I'd spend the rest of my life remembering instead of loving. I was a teacher, college educated, respected in my community. He was a truck driver, delivering goods across the country, spending weeks on the road. He was not what society would call an ideal match for me. But love? Love does not follow society's rules. We met in the simplest of places, a dusty roadside canteen where truck drivers stop for beer and grilled meat. He was sitting under an acacia tree, laughing loudly with his friends, his deep voice cutting through the evening air. He was tall and slim, not what people call classically handsome, but he had a presence, a quiet confidence that made him impossible to ignore. And oh, how people loved him. His colleagues, the bartenders, the gas station attendants, everyone who met him had nothing but good words to say. He never spoke ill of anyone, never carried hate in his heart. He was just kind. "You are looking at me as if you've known me in another life," he said, flashing a playful smile as I sat near him. I smirked, stirring my tea. "And you are speaking to me as if we will know each other in this one," I replied. He laughed, a deep, full laugh that shook the very ground beneath us. And that was the beginning. He wasn't a man of grand gestures, but he was a man of deep intention. He never forgot my favourite things. The way I liked my rice, the song that made me dance, the scent of fresh rain on dry earth that made me smile. When he came back from long journeys, he never came empty-handed. Not with diamonds, not with gold, but with simple things that meant everything. A handmade bracelet from the market, a beautifully woven basket from a roadside vendor, a wooden comb he bought from an elderly craftsman who told him, "Give this to your wife, and she will never forget you." "I am not rich, my queen," he would say, "but my love will always be enough." And it was. More than enough. Every morning, before leaving for work, he would wake up before me and light the charcoal stove. By the time I opened my eyes, the smell of hotakara and pap would fill the house. "A queen should not wake up to an empty home," he'd say, placing a steaming cup in my hands. He danced with me in the kitchen even when there was no music. He wiped my tears when I had a tough day at work. When I struggled with my daughter, feeling lost and exhausted, he'd pull me close and whisper, "Don't worry, darling. My shoulders are big enough to carry both of our problems." And I believed him, because in his arms the weight of the world felt lighter. He never let me walk to the market alone if he was home. He carried the heavy bags, shielding me from the sun with his wide, worn-out hat. And when I fell sick, he sat beside me all night, cooling my forehead with a damp cloth, whispering prayers under his breath. "Love is not just words, my queen," he'd say. "Love is how you show up." And he always showed up. Life was not always easy. Money was tight. His job was demanding. There were times I felt lonely, raising our daughter alone while he was away. But he always came back, and when he did, he made every moment count. "We do not go to sleep with anger in this house," he'd say. holding my hands after an argument. And no matter how stubborn I was, no matter how much I wanted to hold on to my pride, I could never resist the warmth of his embrace. We were a team. In everything. One day, everything changed. A phone call, a work accident, a life taken too soon. My world crumbled. The man who had been my rock, my safe place, was gone. Just like that. 13 years of love stolen by fate. I never remarried. How could I? No one else could match the way he made me feel, safe, cherished, understood. He had set the bar too high, not with wealth or status, but with the depth of his love. I remember standing at the door, waiting, refusing to believe it, refusing to accept that the man who was my rock, my laughter, my protector, was gone. 13 years. That's all we had. 13 years of love, laughter, and quiet moments that meant everything. Looking back, I realized what made my husband truly special. It wasn't about appearances, money, or status. It wasn't about being the most attractive man in the room or having the most impressive career. It was about how he loved. He was a man of quiet strength. He knew what it meant to be a partner, a protector. Not in the way of grand gestures, but in the small, everyday moments that made me feel truly seen. Find a man who dances with you in the kitchen, I tell my daughter. Find a man whose love is measured not in money, but in the quiet ways he shows up for you. Because at the end of the day, that's the kind of love that lasts, even beyond a lifetime. As the years go by, I still hold on to the memories. I still remember the smell of his cologne, the sound of his laughter, the warmth of his embrace. I never found another love like his. Not because I wasn't looking, but because I had already found the love of my life. And if there's one thing I want people to take from my story, it's this. Find someone who makes you feel safe. Find someone who dances with you in the kitchen. Find someone whose love is not measured in gifts, but in the quiet, unwavering presence of a heart that truly sees you. Because at the end of the day, that's the kind of love that lasts. Even beyond a lifetime, he was the love of my life, I whisper, placing a single flower on his grave. And I was lucky to have known him.